If I had to vote, I'd say that Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, he's the biggest woke fool in politics, worse than even Jacinda Ardern. Trudeau this week tweeted that people across Canada were lighting candles to honour Indigenous women, girls and 2SLGBTQQIA plus people who are missing or have been murdered. And of course, my first thought was, what, only Indigenous women and girls and ones of every sexual preference except straight? No candles, so straight white girls have been murdered? But what was that 2SLGBTQQIA plus? I had to actually look it up. It means two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex and asexual plus. And I wonder how many pluses can there be left? I've just been named everyone else. And I had to look up two-spirit too. It turns out that two-spirits means Indigenous Canadians are both female and male spirits. And if you ever need someone who can cast the hex, apparently they're the best. This is getting so stupid. This whole acronym business. I mean, it started with LGB and then LGBTQ, but it's now growing so fast that no one can possibly keep up with it anymore, including Trudeau himself.
I will never apologize for standing up for an LGBTQ2 plus kids' rights.
Joining me is Mark Latham, former federal Labor leader and now One Nation leader in the New South Wales Parliament. Mark Latham, now it's, let me have to try it again. I've done so well without stumbling. 2SLGBTQQIA plus. What is going on here? What's the game?
Well, Andrew, at one level, they're running out of letters, very clearly. They've doubled up on the Q. They've actually left one out there that's practiced in New South Wales high schools, unbelievably, and that's P for pansexual. I don't know if you know what that is, but it means someone who's attracted to the integrity of the person, not their gender or sexuality. So that's another weird definition. And in New South Wales high schools, the sad aspect of this is that 12-year-olds...
I mean, when you said that, pansexual, I got the impression they'd have sex with anything, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, maybe that's part of it too. But the serious and unfortunate side of it is that you can study pansexuality as a 12-year-old in New South Wales high schools without the need for parental consent. I kid you not. Under the National Party Education Minister in New South Wales, you can study that whole alphabet in discussion groups at lunchtime, organised by teachers and other students, including pansexuality, and it does not require parental consent for a 12-year-old student, boy and girl there in Year 7 in high school. So we can sort of laugh about the absurdity of running out of letters and just how much a mockery they're making of themselves with this sort of new fluidity alphabet. But the serious
there are no certainties in the world. Got your parents on you about being male or female and certain types of sexuality. That was all untrue, and you should think of a world of unlimited fluidity and change and variability. And this encourages two things in young people, confusion, and for a lot of young people it's life destroying, this sort of indoctrination. But it also encourages them to rebel against the institutions of society, which is what, of course, these lefties want.
Yeah, but I also think that the whole alphabet that you're supposed to memorise now, that keeps getting longer, is really about setting an ideological tripwire up. You know, if you're part of the group, you can mention this code. It's like, you know, there was a test done for resistance people, Dutch resistance in the war, in World War II. If you could say Scheveningen, then you were okay. And if you couldn't, you were shot. This is the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't know this full acronym.
Yeah, they could shorten the alphabet letters there by just saying it's everyone except straight white people. That's probably the better abbreviation.
Correct. Just say it straight. We're for everyone except straight whites. I mean, that's much easier, but it doesn't fulfil what I said is the game here. Now, Mark, New South Wales Police, speaking of all this, have just unveiled a huge new mural for Inclusion Month. Now, they got artists from the Aboriginal community, they said, from the disability community. I wonder, is everyone's in a tribe now, aren't they? They're all in a community. It's not one community, it's a separate one. Aboriginal community, disability community, and the LGBTQ community. They left off the 2SL and one of the Qs and an I and an A, which I don't know what that's about. Good work.
Oh, no, ugly as. It's hardly classified as an artwork anyone would pay money for. I've got a question on the notice paper in the state parliament to find out how much that monstrosity cost. But it goes to just virtue signalling by the New South Wales Police and the absurdity that they say this is to honour Inclusion Month. Now, I didn't necessarily know we had an Inclusion Month. In my life, I tried to be inclusive of decent people all the time and treat everyone fairly. But they have an Inclusion Month in the New South Wales Police. That's what the mural is for. But they'd have to say that they lack a certain amount of self-awareness